time he steps in there.
Well, and if it's possible, it might have been even more interesting in the octagon after he knocked Oliveira out. Paddy Pimblett comes into the octagon. All the challengers, Arman Tsarukyan, Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett, were octagon side watching this fight. Pimblett, the lowest ranked of the three, Arman Tsarukyan, the highest ranked of the three. And we've heard Gaethje say that he is not going to fight again, maybe going to retire if he doesn't get a shot at the title. But it's Pimblett who comes into the octagon after Joe Rogan tells him to come up in there, and things get a little bit spicy.
Yeah, so of course, we had to ask Ilia about it. Here's what he had to say.
I'll be honest. When he walks into the room, I never feel less handsome. Like, it's not fair. Like, this guy comes in, he's just like the perfect guy. It's ridiculous. And now he's champ, Ilia Topuria. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I mean, what a performance tonight. You've been an absolute legend slayer, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about what happened after the fight with Paddy coming into the octagon. Dana's already said that should have never happened. But it did, and it got a little chippy in there. What were you thinking when he walked in there?
I don't know. That's the fight that I think everyone wants to see. Maybe not. That's not the fight that I'm gonna get in my next fight. But hopefully he's gonna get a fight. He's gonna get a win, and finally, we have that fight. A fight where two fighters really want to fight with each other. You know, with Charles, I had a little bit different situation because I like the guy. I wanted to hate him during the fight week, but it was like you see him with his family. He's surrounded with his team, friends, family members. It's like you can't hate a guy. So I didn't like that experience. I don't know if I want to have it again. I prefer to fight with guys that I really want to fight them. So with Paddy, it will be much better.
You already have a nickname for him.
For Paddy?
Yeah.
He's a pimple. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to touch on what you said. You know, I don't want to assume for you, but really the last three people that you fought have been fan favorites, absolute legends of the sport. And I would imagine that same difficulty that you had tonight, maybe not tonight, but throughout the week with Charles, was it similar with Volk and with Max? And when you look back on just the body of work that you've put on against three absolute legends of the sport, I mean, obviously you're able to set the feelings aside.
With Alex and with Max, it was a little bit different because they were talking a little bit of trash during the fight week. They were acting a little bit different, but you can't even compare the situation with Charles. Like, he's really nice guy.
Yeah. He is. And no one has done to him what you did in that octagon. In under 3 minutes, you put Charles Oliveira away. You've become the only person in UFC history to claim belts at two different weights and do it while being undefeated. We talk, you and I, all the time about your legacy, and you've called all of the shots, and you've done exactly what you said you're going to do. I'm just curious to know, like, do you wake up in the middle of the night and say, first round finish over Charles? Or is it while you're training, you feel really good with your striking, and you're like, yeah, this is going to end in the first round? Like, when do these, like, manifestations start with you?
Since the moment that I get the confirmation of the fight, I start watching all his fights because, of course, I'm a fan of the sport and I always used to watch the fights. But when I get the confirmation about I get like a specific name, I used to watch more fights about my opponent. So I saw him and I was like, what he's going to do? He's not going to be able to do anything against me. He doesn't move. Like, the only time that takes me always to knock out my opponents is the time that I need to close the distance. But with him, I was like, he walks forward. He doesn't even know how to walk backward. So I'm going to knock him out really quick because we are going to find each other in the middle of the octagon. And once I'm going to start to combine the punches, you're not going to see me coming. And this is what I used to say, like, he's on the highest level of the sport, but I'm the next level of the sport. And it sounds a little bit cocky. But
a little bit.
No one, yeah, it sounds a little bit cocky, and I understand that because sometimes I used to watch also my interviews, and I watch myself, and it's like, yeah, it sounds a little bit cocky, but that's the truth. I know how much hard work I put into this project, which is this sport for me. It means like a lot for me. So I used to work really, really, really hard. I used to study like everything. And I know what I'm able to do. And at the same time, I know that no one can match my level of skills inside the octagon. And I prove that all the time.
All right, I have to tell you the truth about something. When I saw you take the picture with both belts, I'm like, oh, that might be bad karma. And then I see what looked like a victory dinner last night, right? You're on the table, the video, it was awesome. But I'm like, man, I hope he can follow through on the promise. But your confidence level is so high that that type of thing doesn't phase you at all, does it? Because you just you have this inner confidence.
I have that confidence inside myself. And I never doubted myself. There's no doubt, never ever. Because once you start doubting yourself, that doubts increase, and it switch into fear. And I don't want to experience that fear before the fight because it's terrible. I had that kind of experience before when I was fighting in the beginning of my professional career. I used to doubt a little bit about myself. I was like, well, if this happens, if he's gonna take me down, if I'm not gonna be able to connect the punches, if this or that. Now I'm like, no way. I'm not gonna travel in the future. I'm not gonna think about if this happened, if this not. I'm gonna be ready for everything. I'm ready for everything. I'm ready for the victory. I deserve that because I work really hard, and like I used to say, the belts are earned in the trainings. In the competition, you just go to collect them. And this is what I did tonight.
Who do you want to face next? If you can pick your opponent, who do you want to see next?
I don't know. Right now, we don't have more legends in the sport, I think.
I think there
Who
might
else
be
we have?
one. I mean,
Tell me.
I would classify Justin Gaethje as a legend, and you have moved up to a
Por
division.
favor. Por
where-
favor. Por favor.
Ilya, come on, we've worked together for so long. You know that, like,
Justin Gaethje.
yes,
No, por
Justin
favor.
Gaethje has
No.
done so much for the sport, has so many incredible fights, future Hall of Famer. I put him in the same regard as the three people that you have just finished all in a row.
Really?
I do. You don't?
So the only thing that I realized is that you don't like the guy because I don't know why you want him to put him against me.
You know what? You used the word cocky. I wanna point out that the difference between cockiness and confidence is what you do to actually succeed. And I would argue to say that you have an insane level of confidence, not cockiness, and that's why you are the lightweight
Thank you very
champion of
much.
the
I
world.
appreciate it.
Yeah, of course,
Thank you
Ilya.
very much.
Congratulations. We
Hold
can't
on.
wait to see you
I
back.
want to
Oh,
rewind. Like I don't know that you ever gave me. Did you give us a name? Like if you had to pick somebody who you want, if it's up to you,
It will be Paddy, probably.
it would be Paddy.
Yeah, because that's the guy that I really would enjoy to punch him in the face. Really would enjoy that fight.
It's been years
And
in the
I know
making.
that I can do with him whatever I want to do. Like, even tell me, kid, what you want me to do with you. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I don't want to use bad words, but yeah.
Well, this is the last question. I know you have to go. Thank you for taking the time. I know
My
you've done a lot of
pleasure,
interviews
always.
tonight. On the weigh-in show, I can't remember if it was DC or Bisping, but they said this guy could be the first 3-division champion in UFC history. And I know it's early. I know you just moved up. But is that something that you've thought about?
I thought about it, but the last conversations I had with the UFC, they personally asked me the favor, like, don't tell us after the fight that you want to move to the welterweight division. Made us a promise. And I was like, promise.
Were you crossing your fingers though?
Yeah.
Because that
I was like,
that
I
would,
swear to promise.
All right. For now.
Yeah.
All right.
now.
Champ.
That could be
Congratulations.
happen.
The 2 belts look good next to you, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.